Hello and welcome to Pennsylvania Small Business Week. My name is Michael McManus, Director of the Small Business Assistance Network. The Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, or DCED, and our partners are celebrating Pennsylvania Small Business Week during National Small Business Week, which is also being held this first week of May 2017. We want to celebrate the contributions of our small businesses and entrepreneurs and highlight the resources available to support your needs. DCED's own Small Business Assistance Network is a great resource and starting point for new entrepreneurs and existing small businesses. You can learn more about us at dced.pa.gov/SBAN. Partners around the state also provide valuable assistance, which you can learn more about at dced.pa.gov/PREP. Thank you for joining us today for the Small Business Web Series. This week we are hosting webinars every weekday starting at noon. This year's topics focus on the assistance available to small businesses and entrepreneurs through state government and our partners, as well as the actual logistics of registering a new small business in PA. In addition to our webinar series, please check out our other live in-person events happening across the state and other resources on dced.pa.gov/PA Small Biz. Stay up to date on the latest small business news by subscribing to our newsletter. On social media, you can follow the conversation using hashtag #PASmallBiz17. We also have some housekeeping items. Today's presentation will be recorded and posted on our website and social media channels, including YouTube. We will have a Q&A session during the last 10 minutes of each session. You can submit your questions using the questions box, and our presenters will be able to read them at the end of the presentation. I am pleased to turn over the webinar to our presenter from the Department of General Services, Audrey Smith.
Thank you, Michael. Good morning, everyone. My name is Audrey Smith with the Bureau of Diversity. I am the Procurement Liaison, and I'm here today to review the self-certification and verification process for small and small diverse businesses through the Bureau of Diversity, Inclusion, and Small Business Opportunities. Our agenda today will be to review the small and diverse business programs to include the self-certification eligibility and the verification criteria for diverse benefits. We'll also conclude with the benefits of enrolling in the program. First, I'd like to review the eligibility criteria for small business certification. Per DGS Procurement Code rules, a small business must be a for-profit entity based in the United States, independently owned, and non-dominant in its field of operation. There can be no more than 100 full-time equivalent employees, and there are 3-year average gross sales maximum revenue limits. For building and design services, that would be $7 million. The procurement of goods, services, and construction contractor suppliers, $20 million. And information technology goods and services at $25 million. The program currently has an annual renewal process, and you can find all of the information referenced so far and the remaining information in our presentation at our www.dgs.pa.gov website and follow the listed drop-downs. I'd like to remind you all that this program is 100% free. This slide is going to review the verification criteria. Currently, the state of Pennsylvania recognizes diverse status to include minority business entities, women business entities, veteran business entities, service-disabled veteran, LGBT, and disabled-owned business enterprises. As far as the verification process, you have to be certified through one of 7 third-party certification entities, as listed in the chart. Each of the entities have their own criteria for certification. Timelines may vary between third-party certifiers and may also vary according to the time of year within each association. Please follow the links attached to get more information on the specifics for the certification process for each entity. Again, the Small Diverse program is an annual renewal process. also free and can be referenced from our DGS website. I'll now like to walk you through the process to register as a vendor. Vendor registration is centered in our Pennsylvania Supplier Portal website. It is the warehouse for all vendor information, and upon completion of the registration process, you will be assigned a unique 6-digit vendor number. At the completion of the process, you will be creating a user ID and password for future access into the system. This slide shows you the website address, www.pasupplierportal.state.pa.us. And you'll see a screen pic of the website and a blow-up of the drop-down menus that we're asking you to follow for registration. There is also a help desk phone number in the event you need additional support. Now I'll take you through the specific process to self-certify as a small business. This process also begins from the Pennsylvania Supplier Portal. You would log on with the username and password that you were assigned upon registration as a vendor and follow, after logging on, the drop-down menus that are shown here, from the Bidder tab following through to the Enterprise application. This slide just shows that because of the different internet platforms and operating systems, that according to your system, you may see some notifications that require approval. These are some of the examples and the selections you should make in order to move forward through the system and override any compatibility issues. This is actually in the Supplier Portal, the tab that you would have to select to access the self-certification application. You would select the Small and Small Diverse Business Program application. This is a home page. As you'll see, it outlines the first 5 steps, which are the steps that must be completed for self-certification as a small business. It does review the eligibility requirements for certification as a small business. The next slide is actually a slide that asks for you to attest to the veracity of the statements that you are making in the application. In summary, it asks for you to assert your current status as an eligible vendor in the system and then to attest to the veracity of the statements you will be making. Select the Continue to Self-Certification buttons on that sheet and it will take you to step 1 of the application, which, as you can see, is a summary of the eligibility requirements for self-certification as a small business. You are simply asked to answer each line item yes or no to ensure that you are eligible as a small business entity. You'll see at the bottom of the screen, and this is on each and every screen, you'll have the option to save and continue to the next step or save and quit and come back at another time to resume where you left off. This is a summary of the complete 7-step process of our application. And as we've stated, the self-certification for small business is a 5-step process. Once you complete step 5, you can review and submit and quit as a small business certification or choose to move forward for small diverse business certification. So now I'll take you through the additional process of verifying as a small diverse business. We're in the same portal. It will drop you back at the end of the last step that you have completed, which should be step 5, which verifies you as a small business. It will ask you if you would like to continue to small diverse business verification and gives you a summary of the third-party entities from which you can receive your certificate. You do have to do a final signature page to confirm your self-certification as small from step 5. Hit the Verify as an SDB button, which allows you to move forward to step 6 in the process. We're now showing you a screenshot of step 6, which lists the third-party certification entities from which we accept verification as a diverse business entity. You may expand these drop-downs. It will show you details, but ultimately you will be selecting the third-party entity from which you have received your certification. In summary, the small business self-certification process is immediate upon completion of steps 1 through 5 of our small and small diverse business application. If you continue to apply for verification as a small diverse business, upon completion of steps 6 and 7, where you upload your certificate from your third-party agency, we then verify its status, which can take up to 14 business days. I will point out that our office does have the capability to expedite this process in the event you're currently trying to apply for an active solicitation, but that does require specific personal request, either by phone or email to our office. What I'm going to share with you now is the actual certificates that will be issued to you upon completion of either the self-certification as small or the verification as small diverse. I'm showing you now an example of a small business certificate. I will point out the certificate numbers in the center of the page and explain the methodology for its creation. The first 6 digits of the certificate number designate the SAP vendor number of the organization. The second 6 digits represent the month and year of the certificate. And finally, the status as small business for the small business certificate. And then if we move to the next page, same format, but you'll see a designation as small business with a supplemental designation for the diverse status. These are the forms that prime contractors will be referencing to ensure that subcontractors who want to be acknowledged as small or small diverse will have to be certified in our system, and this will provide proof of certification. In order to find a small or diverse business, we do have a public database that's accessible by any interested party to find the names of small or small diverse parties registered through DGS. For the entities that are registered, this is another opportunity for free marketing to our Commonwealth buyers, contractors, municipalities, and other organizations seeking a small or diverse business. It is searchable by name, business type, or UNSPSC codes. I will point out that the Commonwealth works with UNSPSC codes, which are similar or comparable to the federal designation of an NAICS or NAICS code. There is a reference of all UNSPSC codes within our database that you can review as needed. The next slide actually just shows you the search screen for searching by business type. You can see you can search by goods, services, construction, design, or IT related. You can find vendors that match only one of the categories you've selected or all of the categories. And you can choose to have a list returned with both small and small diverse businesses or small diverse businesses only by checking the box in the field. In summary, the Small and Small Diverse Program certification process is an annual renewal certification process. Your renewal period opens 30 days prior to the expiration date. The Bureau of Diversity, Inclusion, and Small Business Opportunities will provide 2 notifications at 30 days prior to expiration and again at 15 days prior to expiration. We do offer a 15-day grace period after the date of expiration in order to allow companies to renew without lapse, but beyond the 15 days subsequent to the expiration period, it will require new registration as a small or diverse business. Are there any questions that I may address at this time? Please feel free to enter them and we will respond shortly. Finally, contact information for our department if you'd like to reach us directly. We appreciate your time and consideration and hope that you will feel free to reach out to our office for support as necessary. Doing business with the Commonwealth. First, I'd like to review the importance of our small and small diverse business department. We are mandated by the governor through a most recent executive order 2015-11 which stipulates that we are charged to increase the utilization of small and small diverse business partners in state procurement. This slide just gives you an overview of the distribution of payments from our last fiscal year ending June 2016 and shows that we're seeing about an 8% utilization rate of small and small diverse business payments. Our charge is to increase that number and hopefully get each and every one of you listening to this presentation engaged in this payment chart. Our agenda today will be to review the small and small diverse business programs. I'll give a brief overview of Procurement 101 to help you understand the Commonwealth procurement process. I will review bidding opportunities and finally update you on our work in progress from the department. Let's start with Procurement 101. The Commonwealth procures its goods and services in primarily two processes. And now I'll move over to a discussion about procurement. The Pennsylvania Procurement Code provides for two primary methods of competitive procurement for services, supplies, and construction, to include the invitation for bid and the request for proposal. The invitation for bid is a traditional sealed bidding process with an award made only on price. The request for proposal is a best value approach in which multiple factors are considered, and it is the only procurement vehicle that considers small, diverse, and small business status. In the request for proposal format, there are three components that are considered in the scoring process. A technical component, which will typically comprise between 40 and 50% of the total available scoring points. And this is where the respondents would outline their approach to the problem and describe their experience, personnel, and capabilities to complete the scope of work. The second criteria is a cost component, which will typically comprise up to 40% of the available scoring points. Respondents provide cost models as outlined in the RFP. And third, there is a small diverse small business participation submittal, which is typically set at 20% of the available points and is where respondents provide commitments to small and small diverse businesses and an estimated dollar value that that percentage commitment represents. The RFP is a static document that's altered for each solicitation, and as such, there is a template that is standardized across the Commonwealth in order to streamline the information that's in the document and for ease of reading and understanding. General information will be found in Part 1 of the proposal format. Part 2 will include the criteria for selection. Part 3 will focus exclusively on the technical submittal. Part 4 on the cost submittal, and Part 5 on the small and small diverse participation submittal. Part 6 is where the standard contract terms and conditions will be found. What I'm going to review for you now are the participation submittal forms for the small and small diverse submission. The first page is a submittal form that asks the prime offeror to identify themselves and let us know whether they are a DGS verified small diverse business or a DGS self-certified small business. After answering those questions relative to the offerer's status, you would then make your subcontracting commitments and the subcontracting information box. Those commitments are to be stated in both numerical and written form and separated by designation of either small diverse or small business. This form is a two-page form. The second side of the form is where you would list each small or small diverse business that would be referenced from the first side. I will point out that the percentage commitments from the itemized list of vendors on the back page should total the numbers placed on the front page by each designation, either small or small diverse. I would suggest, as a vendor completing our SDB submittal forms, if you have any questions or uncertainty regarding completion of these forms, please do reach out to our office prior to completing them. The second form that's required as part of the SDB-SB submission is a letter of intent. The letter of intent is a document that's signed between the prime contractor and subcontractor, which shall stipulate the specific solicitation, the responses in regard to, the specific work or goods that are going to be offered by the subcontracting party, the time frame for the contract, and you will enter the specific numerical percentage commitment for each vendor for which you are subcontracting. You will have to have the letter signed by authorized representatives from the offering business as well as the subcontracting business. And we ask that you not change the format of this letter. The fields are locked down for a purpose to ensure that we get all of the information requested with no additional unneeded information. Now I'm going to go through the scoring process. And for those of you that may have some historical experience, I'd like to explain some of the changes between the old scoring process and our new scoring process. In the past, we used to score our solicitations on a priority ranking system, which unfortunately resulted with some solicitations where no offerer received the full point allocation. This program did not consider small business entities and used a convoluted method to score the system and made it harder for offerers to understand the scoring process. That system was updated with the new RFP template, which ensures with the new scoring process that one offerer in each solicitation will receive the full scoring points. It allows for consideration of historical performance and simplifies the model so that upon submission, each and every offerer should be able to compute their own raw score. The scoring calculation is as stated on this sheet, and I do point out that it does now award points for the utilization of small businesses. As far as the contractual requirements for the small and small diverse business submission, we'd like to remind you that any commitments made in the submittal will become contractual obligations upon contract award and execution, that the commitments cannot be altered without written approval from the Bureau of Diversity, Inclusion, and Small Business Opportunities, and the selected offerer is required to execute a subcontract. We have a model subcontract agreement template for your use within 30 days of the contract award. An additional contractual requirement is that any subcontractor must perform 50% of the work subcontracted to them. And as I stated, the model subcontract agreement is available on our forms website. Finally, commitments cannot be changed without written approval. They must be maintained even if the contract is assigned to another prime contractor. Quarterly reporting is required, and in the event that the offerer is unable to comply with their commitments, to please contact the office Bureau of Diversity at their earliest convenience. Finally, looking at some of the contractual requirements relative to compliance, there is a requirement for quarterly reporting. Late fees can be assessed after 10 days beyond the due date, and there are other sanctions available to ensure that commitments are kept. A sample of the model subcontract agreement that we mentioned, again available on the forms website and as an addendum to the RFP. Some of the recent programmatic changes include the assignment of a new deputy secretary singularly focused on the initiatives of the Bureau of Diversity, Inclusion, and Small Business Opportunities. Our new director, Carrie Kirkland, is in place and working hard for the initiatives of the Bureau. Also reminding you that small businesses are now being considered in the scoring process. The recent addition of LGBT and disabled-owned entities is being recognized for diverse designation, and the streamline and updating of the submission template and letters of intent. The fact that we've changed the scoring process so that no points are left on the table, and the requirement that a subcontract be completed between the prime and the subs upon an award, and reminding you of the increased penalties and sanctions for noncompliance to the program. One final note of importance is to let you all know that the Bureau of Diversity, Inclusion, and Small Business Opportunities, in coordination with the Purchasing Department of DGS, recently issued a solicitation for a disparity study, which we hope will help define the levels of disparity in procurement across the state of Pennsylvania that will help further the initiatives of our department and give us the data to support our initiatives. Now I'd like to go into bidding opportunities. How do you find opportunities in the Commonwealth? I'm going to direct you, most importantly, to our primary website at DGS, www.dgs.pa.gov. And within that portal, you'll see a drop-down for the e-marketplace. This is a repository for all solicitation and procurement information for the Commonwealth. Once you get to the Supplier Service Center, this is the page that you will see that will allow you to search either by solicitation, award or contract, sole source procurements, emergency procurements, invitation to qualify contracts, procurement forecasts, and statewide contracts. Within that system, you can search any contract that you're trying to get information on. I'll also make you aware of an e-alert system, which is an automated system which allows for notification of solicitations that are being posted to our e-marketplace portal. A vendor or interested party would enter contact information and select commodity codes for the type of business, services, or goods offered. And when those goods or services are procured in the supplier service portal, it will match to any vendor who has requested information in that category. It is an automated system with no response. It's simply a way to help you not miss any relative solicitations to your industry. I'd like, in summary, just to talk to you about a construction-related program as part of the Small and Small Diverse Business Program at BDSBO, referred to as JOC, Job Order Contracting. The JOC program is a program implemented by the department to deliver a streamlined process to procure construction services for projects estimated at almost $25 million. The dollar value of those projects ranges from $10,001 to $300,000. Anything above $300,000 would employ a capital procurement process. So this is a program developed to streamline those smaller scale construction jobs. The JOC program involved a solicitation to select 12 separate contractors across 3 regions of our state and 4 disciplines. To outline that specifically, for each of the 3 regions across the state of Pennsylvania, Central, Eastern, and Western, a prime contractor was selected in 4 disciplines: general construction, HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. The subcontracting opportunities that are offered or available as part of the JOC system would include professional design services, construction subcontracting opportunities, and construction goods and materials. This will just give you a visual of the regions and reiterate to you that with 4 contractors per region across the state, with the amount of work coming from the Commonwealth, there will be a wide variety of opportunities for our small and small diverse business partners to seek subcontracting opportunities on. In the JOC order system, the 4 prime contractors across each of the 3 regions of the state were required to make small and small diverse subcontracting commitments. You can see the commitment percentages levels by region and by discipline, and the specific award winners by region and discipline are listed on this chart. You'll see a wide variety of percentage commitments to as high as 55% utilization by one company for small businesses and 7.5% or so commitment to small diverse businesses. Who's going to benefit in the job order contracting program? We expect to be our small and small diverse business partners. With the multitude of opportunities that will be available, we are working internally to set up networking forums coordinated by the Bureau of Diversity, Inclusion, and Small Business Opportunities. These networking forums will allow the opportunity for subcontractors to have a one-on-one engagement opportunity with the prime contract award winners. If you're interested in participating in either the JOC program or our networking symposiums, please do contact our office directly. I know we went through quite a bit of information, and I'm hoping there's some questions that will be able to provide some clarity to you all. Please take the time to fill out your questions, and we will respond to them shortly. In summary, here is a list of contact information for people in the Bureau of Diversity, Inclusion, and Small Business Opportunities. I would like to thank you for your time and attention, and extend the invitation for any additional support requirements for you to contact our office directly. Again, best wishes in your endeavors to participate in procurement with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Have a good day.